I have been a freelance interpreter for 2 years, after working as an in-house translator and interpreter. 2 years with a commercial bank and 7 more years with a charitable foundation. And since I became a freelancer, I haven't really been looking for clients. Clients usually find me through recommendations of other clients and colleagues, and also through social media. So how does it work? Potential clients follow you on social media, they get to know you, and they start to trust you. And then you do not really have to prove anything to them. What I like most about the clients who come to me through social media is that usually it is not some kind of competition. So they are not looking for any interpreter, Jim, Jack, or Jill. They want you because they feel that they know you and they trust you. And thus it is much easier to maintain a contact and good relations with such clients. And of course, here we assume that the service that you are offering is of good quality. This is something I cannot do for you. You should do it on your own. But what I can do for you is tell you about some ways to build and promote your personal brand as interpreter using social media. And specifically, I would like to talk about Facebook. Why Facebook? Some people say that nobody uses Facebook anymore. Please raise your hands if you still do. So who uses Facebook? Okay, so like almost everyone. I think that it can really be helpful. Of course, there are other tools, and my colleagues will tell you about them later. But I would like to focus on do's and don'ts of promoting your personal brand as an interpreter through Facebook. And the first one would be become visible. Because you can do an excellent job, but if your potential clients do not know about it, they will not reach out to you, first of all. And to do so, first of all, you need to make your own page look professional. And also you can become a member of some professional Facebook groups and communities. For example, if you specialize in finance or banking interpreting, those can be groups for finance people or for bankers, and it can really be helpful to find your clients. Also, try to post content regularly. So even if you are super tired, or even if it is November and you feel depressed, still try to post something at least like twice a week so that people remember you. It can even be some like nice picture or post of some interesting information if you totally don't feel like writing a proper post. Be nice. It might seem obvious, but many people forget about it, and they focus on negative things, like criticizing colleagues, for example. So if you post a video on Facebook of an interpreter who did a bad job and looked funny, someone might get a good laugh, of course. But how will it show your potential clients that you can actually do a better job? Also, be human. It's okay to write about your family, your pets, your friends, unless you only write about them, and people forget what else you do, apart from spending time with your family. So the general rule is to post about business on business days and about family over the weekend. Also tell stories, because people love stories. So if you've got a boyfriend or a child or a cat, you can tell stories about them. And people will feel like they are watching some TV series, or like if they are reading a book with you. And you will feel to them like a friend, like someone they know really, really well. And also, it's a good idea to use nice professional pictures for your social media profile. Why? Because as an interpreter, your personal brand is part of your client's corporate brand. So it is a good idea, I would say, to use the same pictures for all your social media profiles and messengers, so that first, you are visible, and second, people recognize you easily. And now some don'ts. Do not write about problems, write about solutions. So you can talk about some negative things, of course, equipment that doesn't work, or like subcontractors who miss deadlines, but it is always better to tell how you managed to cope with some situation and still you kept your client happy. Also, do not get too personal. I mean, your clients don't really need to know that you met a great guy in a bar yesterday and you spent a fabulous night with him. They might be happy for you, of course, but maybe maybe not. And frankly, they don't want to know it. So just try to keep some privacy. And also try to avoid some sensitive topics such as politics. It is not easy, I know, but just be aware that your clients, they may have different points of view. And if you do post something, then at least prepare to stay professional and to have some civilized conversations with your opponents. I know that I can't do that, I get too emotional, so I just don't go there, I don't do it. And also, do not talk about your hobbies more than about your job, if you want to promote yourself as an interpreter, of course. Because sometimes you go to someone's Facebook page and you cannot understand if a person is still an interpreter or a translator because all the posts are about something else. So if you want to promote your brand, try to focus on what you actually do to earn your living. Do not try to look like too good. If you are tired sometimes, or if you fail sometimes, it's okay, and you can share it. But once I heard a piece of advice I agree with, and it is, unless you are a well-recognized professional, do not focus on your failures too much. Try to focus on your success, first of all. And also, don't like your own posts. Please don't do it. It looks really weird. And if you want Facebook just to show your post to more people, you can use some other tricks. For example, you can write comments to your own post with some additional information or with some links to internet resources, or you can tag people in your posts, of course, if you are sure that they do not mind. And also, don't try too hard. Don't try too hard to sell your services, because there is a million people every day who try to sell us something. And we are all kind of tired of it. So just show your clients how good you are, and they will contact you anyway if you never even offer your services directly. And I heard from many people that they do not know what to write about their work. But you know what? Our job as interpreters is really exciting because we meet people, we go to places, and I'm sure that you have a lot of things to tell your followers. And over the time, some of those followers are sure to become your clients. So just do it and good luck.
Hello, I'm Victoria Moroz, and I'm an interpreter, and I'm going to speak about my personal brand and social media. Why do we need to do that? First of all, not everybody needs to have a personal brand. But if you decide to do personal branding, then you have to understand that you will be in the profession for the next 20 to 30 years, because you will need a lot of planning and discipline for that. To be a successful interpreter in Ukraine, you do not need a personal brand. You need to get along with people well. And if you are still getting along with people 30 years later, then it's not enough. And why I'm doing that is because I'm scared about my colleagues who are more than 50 years old. What I wanted to work just to high standards and to the best rates and to have best leverages to influence the process. I wanted to be less nervous and to produce better quality. And I'm very scared about my old age, and I'm trying to make it as comfortable as possible. And now I'm going to show you two examples of a perfect personal brand, unfortunately not from our trade. I'm going to show you Chiara Ferrani. She's an international influencer in fashion, and Yaroslava Grace, who is a PR specialist in social practices from Ukraine. And I chose this photograph for you to judge about the depth of their personalities. They show their children. They show Chiara also shows her breasts and her naked breasts, but this is not the main thing. What to do to make your breasts interesting to others, and what to do to become an interesting person, because it's not the breast that matters. It's as such. You need to keep growing to be interesting, and you need to continue to be interesting, because unless we develop, we degrade. But let's go back to classics, and let's discuss stages of brand building, because we always start by we always think about promotion first, but in order to know how to promote, we need to know what we are promoting, meaning the core of the brand. The second stage is the so-called packaging, the image of the image that you're going to show on social media, because you're not going to show yourselves, you're going to show this image, but it should be very comfortable for you, because this is the image you will be with for the next 20 or 30 years. And what we start with is where I go and who I am and my mission and my dreams and values. And the first advice is not to look at others and not to compare and not to look for what the world needs. But let's look at what you can give the world. In many cases, experts advise to start with market analysis, but don't do that, or you will get scared. Just do what you want to do without comparing yourselves to others. What I show is travels. I also show my cat Ilya. Do we have anyone who doesn't know my cat Ilya here? I show the feminism and the mantis, the female mantis, and I show how I like to eat good food, and but this is what I show. But let's go back to professionalism. How we can strengthen our brand is through courses and conferences, and Irina Lebedeva's presentations. The courses and conferences bring you networking, including meetups and being friends in real life and Facebook, and keep shouting that you are an interpreter. Interaction with opinion leaders and connections with other professionals is also very important. It's clear from the social media that if you keep communicating with opinion leaders, and if you do that for many years, it means that you have something to talk to. And if the trade leaders have something to talk to, then the clients will see the same about you. And the community, this is what grows from all of these actions. A community is a sign of a mature industry, a mature sector. We don't have that yet, but we have clusters, and we will have a community sooner or later. And what I do is I use a blog on my website with useful articles for colleagues and clients. I repost, I republish recommendations, I comment in professional groups, I comment my own postings to make sure that they are still at the top for after a long time, and conferences and training courses that we talked about already. Your postings should be useful, but useful postings can be boring, and that's why you have to be emotional. You have to share what you felt and how you perceived what was happening. This is special when you read younger colleagues. It's more interesting because as you grow older, you become less interesting in terms of emotions, in terms of your feelings. And this freshness of perceptions and feelings is why men marry young girls, actually. But I always show that I'm not perfect, that I have a right to make mistakes. I still want to. I even had an idea to write a story of my history of my fuck-ups, and my colleagues tried to dissuade me, but I'm still thinking maybe I should do that. Then we do not need to always discuss our rates. Not all people in our trades. You need accounting, you need an accountant, you need to be an entrepreneur, you need one conference a year, and this is about costs per year, and that's what it boils down to. That's about $2,000 per year, all of your marketing efforts. If you are not ready to go this deep into your personality, this will be your homework. Look at this colleague, Vasilika, lives in London, and she is of Greek origin. I met her at the UTICA conference, and I like the way she manages her social media. She communicates in a perfect way who she is, why she is there. She always highlights her social media. She always checks her postings and makes them perfect. And no matter how much you try and how hard you try and how much you write, all of a sudden you come to an event and a client's mom says, I know you're the cat's mom. And that's it for me.
So this is supposed to be PechaKucha, and there is a standing joke that PechaKucha is a competition of who can speak faster, but I'm a simultaneous interpreter, so I will not speak too fast, and no interpreter will suffer. And in fact, PechaKucha is good for interpreters because usually speakers are not allowed to use notes, which is very good for interpreters, and also speakers somehow rehearse and make sure that there is some logic behind their talk. So this is me. I'm Dmitro Kushnir. I'm a simultaneous interpreter. I work with Polish, English, Russian, Ukrainian. I also translate stuff. And currently I live in Kiev. Originally I'm from Vinnytsia. So this next slide is about what I want from you. I want you to blog about your profession. Well, maybe on Telegram, maybe on some other social media, but the more of us are there, the higher the chances that someone suddenly starts to write something interesting. And it will be beneficial for every one of us. So the crucial business question, of course, did I get more clients? Did I have people who met me through Telegram and ordered, for instance, some simultaneous interpreting from me? So the answer is on the next slide. Unless you speak the Chernihiv variety of the Ukrainian language, you probably know that, well, actually this means no. I found some clients who ordered translations. I reminded some colleagues that I do this kind of language or this kind of projects, but no new clients. So who are my subscribers? Sometimes I get a person like from Cuba saying, okay, I'm a student of translation. I'm reading your blog to find out more about that. But generally, I could classify my subscribers into three main categories, like current colleagues, students who are going to become colleagues quite soon, and the general public. Well, by the way, my channel is in English, so basically anyone in Ukraine who is interested in learning English can subscribe, and sometimes they do. This number is actually not mine. There is this wonderful guy, Mykola Klimchuk, who will be speaking here on Friday, and I hopefully will be interpreting for him. So he basically asked his subscribers how many of them were in the same field as him, and 74% said that now they are in other businesses. This is Jonathan Downey, whom you probably know. He was a speaker at UT webinars, and well, he says that visibility is something we really need, and I kind of agree with him. So there needs to be some common ground, something that unites you with your subscribers. For me, it's the English language. So I write in English, many people learn English, and we kind of love the language together. And well, there can be other common grounds, as Victoria, for instance, explained, like animals, children, etc. But this, by the way, Telegram doesn't have likes by default, but I introduced them. And these are the main things that my subscribers like stories about failures, about vocabulary and word use, language learning, useful resources, etc., etc. But yeah, this is my key audience. First of all, I'm writing for myself. Because I have to persuade myself that I need to continue what I'm doing, right? And this is actually something that makes business sense. Because on the next slide, you will see one famous person, Viktor Frankl. I couldn't interpret for him because, well, he left us when I was a little boy, but I interpreted for his student and friend. And I realized that meaning is something crucial for people in any activity they are doing. And, well, maybe you had this situation in your life if you are an interpreter. Something approaches you and says, okay, really good job. I know because I was an interpreter before. And then I usually ask them, why have you left? And, well, they sometimes say I left for something better, but usually it's because they had some misconceptions about it. And there is a good book, Emotional Equations. It says despair equals suffering minus meaning. So there is some suffering in any profession. There are situations which are imperfect. But if we have meaning behind that, it's okay. And this is what personal brand is partly about. So why I've chosen Telegram? Because that's a tool which enables creation of such a self-image. And it's different from Facebook. It's not a place where people will come to comment just to show off that, oh, okay, I haven't read your text, but here's me, I would like to comment. And Facebook, for introverts, this is what some people call Telegram. Because you're writing, if a person really has something to reply, they can write, they can send you a personal message, or sometimes there is a group. And here is a good example. I used to meditate. I could give another lecture on that. I meditated for about 3 years, and I stopped for some reason. And then I wrote about this on my Telegram. And one user started to say, well, you're not doing something good. Meditation is from the devil, etc. And I explained things to her, and I started meditating again. Okay, subscribers come from two main sources on Telegram. Some of them are free, some of them are paid. The paid ones are cheaper than the free ones. And here are the numbers about Telegram subscriptions. Well, you can see that it's not that popular in Ukraine. And what's also important, it's easy to become the first. So basically, 2,000 or 3,000 is something you can get in a day. If you write 3 really good posts and advertise yourself in some really good place, well, you will be the best. And here is, by the way, my address. You can check it out and subscribe if you want. Thank you.
Дмитро, дякуємо.
Thank you, Dmytro. Please be there, stay there. If you have any questions, please raise your hands. About Telegram, whatever may be interesting about meditation. Maybe about meditation we can speak a bit later.
This is my first PechaKucha, and I'm going to fail miserably because I didn't learn this by heart, but bear with me. And if you have any questions afterwards, please. So Instagram for translators. Why am I on Instagram? First of all, yes, let's start with the why. The why is that 1 billion people are on Instagram, okay? Every month there's 1 billion posts. 80% and more of businesses in America, for example, are on Instagram. And most millennials are on Instagram, and they're your present or even future clients. So if you want to engage with your clients, you have to be on Instagram, okay? And how you do it, setting up is very easy if you haven't. What's very, very important is that you do a very good tagline, a very good bio, even posting your links and stuff like that. And you have to create a persona and keep it. What you don't have to do is post every selfie that you ever took of yourself every time that you see a mirror or something. So don't do that. But if people think that Instagram is only about visuals, it's not. You can even have a very large caption underneath and even a call to action. What you do want to be is relevant. So for example, on Pride Week, I posted this, which is very colorful, love and everything. It got a lot of likes because of that, because I was relevant and did it on the day of Pride, parade. So you have to be relevant and you have to post good quality images. What you don't do is be authentic. I mean, don't be not authentic to you, who you are, because I apparently am not good with, for example, with flat lays, which is like doing these kinds of posts. So I can't do them. I cannot do stuff that is inauthentic to who I am. But you can be daring. I thought that I couldn't post pictures like that of myself, but apparently I could, and I even got a lot of likes because I showed. I was kind of daring with a caption that I wrote. I wrote that I'm 5'2" in height, but I'm 6'3" in my attitude. So it got a lot of engagement. Probably won't get like whatever millions of people that Ronaldo has. So don't bank on 500 million followers. But if you do quality pictures and quality content, like Katie, for example, who engages with her audience and who answers, who is nice to her audience and who engages in a lot of stories, you will grow your following over time, okay? You have to do the stories and you have to be creative with the stories. Stories are even better than posts right now. People love stories. I used to have like 10 people following me on stories. I have more than 300 right now. And you have to be creative about it. You have to use all the tools that are at your disposal. For example, tagging where you are, or mentioning accounts that you want to mention on your story that are relevant, and using hashtags all the time. You can even do polls, and you can even have now chats with your audience. If you want to raise a question, you can have a chat with your audience, and they will join the chat and talk to you. You have to use all kinds of apps and stuff like that to create interesting story. I even posted a story on the PechaKucha that is coming up. So people, will find out what I'm going to do here at UTIC. So it's important to be all the time to use new apps. I have like tons of apps. If anybody wants to ask me afterwards what I use for all kinds of, I even have tutorials on my stories, on my highlights. So you can just come to me and I'll show you. You have to be always updated, always learning, always trying to find new ways to engage your audience. Why for translators? This is Val. Some of you know her. She is an interpreter, and she also is very interested in style. She calls herself the stylish freelancer. So she's talking about style, makeup, interpreting, and everything else. She has quite a nice engagement, which is always growing, and good pictures. This is another translator. Some of her pictures are good, some are less good. But you have to follow more and more people who are in your business and try to copy them for the good stuff and try not to avoid some of the mistakes they're making. Okay, that's something like, for example, this one is too much all over the place for me. The color scheme, although it's the Ukrainian flag, but it's very nice. But it's too much wordiness. I don't get what they're doing here, for example. The other one, on the right, has very nice pictures. Oops, went too fast. Has very nice pictures, but every picture that they post doesn't have a caption, it doesn't have tags, doesn't have anything except call us for a quote. And I don't think that's the way to go. You have to engage your audience first. She has 59 people following. She can't tell them, call me, and that's it. She has to engage the followers first. She has to build the following first. Don't hard sell yourself, okay? Be a storyteller, not a seller, okay? That's one of the most important things. And use hashtags. If you are into couture, if you're translating something to do with fashion, cosmetics, whatever it is, use the right hashtags. Find out where the clients are, where all the fashion houses or whatever you call them, the brands, all of them. Tag them in your posts. Try to engage them, okay? If they have a line coming up or something, talk about it. And remember that you have to stand out from the crowd, okay? It's a lot of work. I won't lie, I dedicate about 2 hours a day for this sometimes, but it's fun. And, and you have to just remember, create good content and following will come. So, thank you very much.
Everyone, my name is Iryna Khramchenko. Today we are going to speak about blogging on Facebook. I remember myself just starting my career when I just graduated from the university, and I remember how hard it was to find some person who can give some advice to help me avoid some mistakes on becoming a good translator. So I decided to become such a person and share my experience with those who want to start a career as translators. I have at the moment 10 years of experience, and I run my blog in Ukrainian language because there is high demand in high quality content in Ukrainian. I have chosen a Facebook business page for several reasons. For example, because I can gather statistics and see how many people viewed my posts, see their reactions, and count such measures as engagement rate and reach. I have also liked the idea of raising awareness of what I do among my Facebook friends, because all of us have hundreds or even thousands of friends, and really each of them can recommend us to their other friends, and so they can become our clients too. I prefer Facebook notes, and actually my target audience also reacts better to Facebook notes, because I can write much longer articles. They are SEO friendly, the same as other blogs on websites. And also you can use HTML to create beautifully formatted articles and add some photos, links, and other media. My target audience are colleagues, and before publishing any content, you should first define your target audience, because this depends. So you can at first gather all of the information about their occupation, age, income level, location, values, and interests to find out what content is more interesting for them, and provide the information they need. To publish your post, you will definitely need a content plan. You can use just Excel spreadsheets for this, or also you can use SMM planning tools such as Buffer, Facebook Publisher, or Later. Buffer and Later are tools where you can also publish both on Facebook and Instagram. I usually write my posts on weekends for a week ahead. So I can be free during the week, and I just schedule them, and they appear even now while I'm on the conference. Another statistics are necessary to see whether your posts are engaging for the audience. So we have two important values, such as reach, how many people have viewed your publication, and engagement rate, that is the number of likes, shares, and comments divided by the number of followers and multiplied by 100%. A bit of psychology: when you start doing something new, for example, running a blog or a video blog, you will have to face a lot of fears. One of them is the fear of blank page, when you just sit in front of your desk and don't know what to write. So you can find different sources to get the ideas from. For example, you can browse forums of some professional forums and see what questions are asked there and provide your professional opinion. Look for your competitor's blog to see what topics have not been covered yet and dwell on that topics. What concerns the secret to success is these are 3 steps. Because I have launched my blog 9 months ago, and at first it was very hard, but I can say that practice makes perfect, and in about 100 posts you will see that it becomes much more easy to publish. Learning from failure is very important. For example, if you, I have an experience that Facebook sometimes includes some odd characters to the links. I know about this problem, and now I check every my publication to see whether the link works. Also, don't try to be afraid to make a mistake. What concerns feedback, you can receive both good and bad reactions, but please don't take away these negative subjective reactions, but only objective feedback that can help you improve. What concerns people's reactions, they are unpredictable. For example, once I published 2 perfectly written articles that were verified by experienced copywriters, and I received 0 likes and 0 comments. To sum up, blogging really works. For example, it helped me increase my word-of-mouth marketing by 10%. Also, it helped me to cope with my fears, to boost my self-esteem, to also build a network of people who share the same values and ideas as me. And I'm also glad to see some of my subscribers here at the conference. Thank you.
Якщо є запитаннячка?
Yeah. Do we have any questions? No questions? Okay. Let me add a little bit here. Facebook groups. And specifically, there is a Ukrainian Translators group. This is a very good place to start looking for clients. By accident, I found a client through this group, and I earned 5-digit amount through this client. Okay, that's it. Let's have dinner.